If you've ever wanted to build a DJ set but didn't know where to start, you're here in the right place. We're not just talking about mixing, but actually getting the music and choosing the right songs for the set. In this video, I'm going to take you inside of my head and inside of my process, how I dig in the record pools, what I'm listening for, and how I decide what actually makes it into my library and into my sets. Let's go. My name is Coach Hapa from the DJ Coach, and today what we are going to do is I'm going to let you inside of my head, and we're going to start to put together a set. In fact, here is step one, and I want you to make sure to stay for the end so you can see how this all comes together. But step one is all about setting intention. This goes for more than just digging for music. This really translates to life. But unless we decide this is what the focus is, we can just be spinning our circles and running ourselves ragged, right? So this is really, really important. In fact, I've said this before, and I'll keep saying this. Practice needs to be with a purpose. And in fact, actually, the best practice is when you have a project. So instead of just practicing for the sake of practicing, we're going to practice with a project in mind. Maybe this is an actual gig that you're getting ready for. Or maybe this is a mix that you're putting together. Maybe it's something that you're just going to put together for yourself or for a loved one or something like that. But it needs to start with intention. That is key. So today, I got thrown a song by one of our other coaches, which I guess was featured in a video game at some point. It's got a World Cup type of feel. Shout out to all of the World Cup fans that are out there. Apparently this got used maybe years ago for the World Cup, but we're going to build a set around this song. And the song that we are going to use it's by one of the BTS members, and it's called, here, hold on, let me see. They sent this to me. Dreamers is what it's called. So come with me on this journey. We're going to sort this out. I'm going to take you through this as if you were just right next to me in my studio. You'll get a chance to watch how all of this unfolds. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I just want to visualize this so that you can sort of understand what we're going to do. So we are looking for the song Dreamers. Now, at this point, I don't even know what the BPM is of this. Apparently, this is by, I think it's Jungkook from BTS. And so, again, this was like a World Cup song or was used in the FIFA game or something like that. So once we know the BPM, which I need to still figure out the BPM, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 6 songs that could go with this that are within the same sort of BPM range. And now what you'll see is, like, as I start to put together and prep for something, maybe I have another song here, another song here. This is what I like to call anchor theory. And so I start building these almost mini sets, if you will. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we need to figure out what's the BPM of Dreamers. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. Number one is we could do a search for this. So you type this into your favorite AI search tool or into Google or whatnot and see what comes out. Let's try that first. All right, so we're going to say, what is the BPM of Dreamers by Jungkook? 115 BPM is what it says. So we could trust that. And yeah, this was used music from the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Okay, so we've got World Cup coming up soon, but I'm going to then say, let's go back to my whiteboard. This is now 115. Oops, let me undo that. Let's do that there. Okay, so this is 115. So now I'm looking for songs within that plus or minus 4 range. So I'm looking for songs that are 111 to 119 that have a similar vibe to what this is. And I haven't even heard the song yet. So we're going to need to hear the song. We're also going to need to figure out where we're going to get it because I want the actual MP3. And by the way, if you haven't seen the video that I've done yet on how to actually go about getting music and why streaming is not the way to go as a DJ and instead subscribing to a record pool is much better, make sure to watch this video. You can go there after this. You should watch the rest of this first and then go and watch that video after this just so you can get caught up on exactly what the benefit is to using a record pool. But that's where I'm going to go first. So let's come on over back to my laptop and I'm going to show you where we're going to search. Okay, and actually maybe before I do that, I'm going to show you one other resource, which is songbpm.com. So, of course, you could just Google something or whatnot, but this also is a database that I can use, and let's try this just to double check. let's say Dreamers. Let's only type in Dreamers. Let's see what pops up. There it is, first one, 115. And actually, this is also telling us the key. It's in a key of C, and it's also telling us the duration of the song. Now, it's got links to be able to listen to this here as well. Instead of doing this, though, I really want to make sure that we actually have the file. So let's go to, I'm going to go to one of my record pools. I'm going to go to Direct Music Service, and I already pulled this up. I typed in Dreamers, and what you can see is a bunch of things that popped up with Dreamers. So artist, there's I guess a band, Dreamers, and then here's my track. I found it, right? Now, in this case, I actually use multiple record pools. So I subscribe to multiple record pools. This is one of them. I love DMS. Shout out to the team over at DMS. They generally have a lot of older stuff as well. And it's a really good spread, a really good variety of music that's on DMS. The look and feel of the website isn't necessarily like, my thing aesthetically, but it's super functional and it's great. And so, no shade, but I'm just giving you my honest feedback here. I also use Headliner Music Club. I typed in Dreamers on Headliner Music Club, and I got the band Dreamers. Or no, this is a song by Moti, but no, I didn't find the track that I was looking for. So these are two of the ones that I use. There's also a ton of other pools that are out there. Shout out to DJ City, BPM Supreme. The list goes on and on. Heavy Hits, Club Killers. There's quite a few of them out there. Find the one that works best for you. And so now that I've got this, let me show you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and let me see. Am I hooked up so you can hear this? This is coming through my laptop speakers. So let me go ahead and just download this. Typically, I would probably listen to this first, but I'm just going to download it. So there it is. Let me go ahead, and now I'm going to play this so that you can hear what it actually sounds like. All right, so here it is. This is what it sounds like. And I can jump around to different... Okay. All right, so this sounds like a World Cup song, right? Like it's got a real worldly feel to it. It's 115 beats per minute. So it's not quite, some of the things that I have in my library at this tempo would be more like new disco tracks or things like that. It's not quite that. I think it's almost got more of this it's just like a world music kind of flavor to it. So it's at 115. This generally is sometimes a hole for a lot of people. Or a lot of people have different BPM holes within their library. And this sort of 110 to 120 sometimes can be a fairly common hole for a lot of people. So let's figure out like what else can go with this, and let's look through the pool. Now, before I do, again, I just wanted to say I want you in my head here, and so you'll get a chance to watch me go through this. But literally, as this pulled up, now I was really curious. I was really curious, like, what is the Dreamers? What is this? Okay, so I'm just kind of listening to this. It's a little bit, it's more like rock, like almost alternative rock. And, I just had never heard of it before. Here's another artist called Dreamers as well. That sounds like maybe, it's the same it's the same band. So it's all from the same band, and it's a little bit more indie rock, alternative rock in terms of that. So, again, I think the process of being in a record pool also there's an element of discovery. So yes, you would go in with some intention and be searching for something, but then you also want to be open to what else might I find. I might find some stuff here that I never anticipated finding. All right, so based off of this, we've got Dreamers. You can see the little color icon next to it. It's got like a little light blue flag right there. That means that it's pop. So I could look in pop for other tracks, which probably isn't a bad space to look in. I also can see the year. It's 2022. All good. I can also start to browse in different ways, right? So I could go to different playlists, which I don't think that this song is going to be in somebody else's playlist necessarily, but I could start to get into some of these different playlists and look for things that way. Generally speaking, when I'm in DMS, what I do is I find a track like that one, and then what I might do is I might do a custom search. And the custom search I'm going to do is let's go from BPM. We're going to go from BPM. Let's see, what did I say? 111 to 119, right? Is sort of what I'm looking for. So let's go 111 to 119. We can also select sort of what I might be looking for. So I'm going to click on reggae. I'm going to click on maybe indie new wave, maybe some disco, funk, pop. Cool. That gives me an idea. I'm not going to limit myself by the decades or anything like that. And let's just say go. So now what it's producing is it's producing a list of a bunch of tracks that are within that same BPM range. And I'm also seeing that based on the genre, it's got, I've got my light blue, my dark blue, and I can like put some things together based off of that. So here's a levitating, like this is a good example. This is Levitating by Dua Lipa, but this is a mashup with Tina Marie. So it's a blend that Pete Down, who is an editor, put together, right? So I can listen to that and see how like maybe that would work. I've got some 80s stuff, Human League. The Bruno Mars, I just might, like this is a remix of it at 115. Like that might be an interesting one there. Again, you're sort of seeing a lot of different options that are in here. Some Sabrina Carpenter stuff, Zed, and again, on this list, I recognize some of these tracks, but I don't necessarily recognize all of them, or certainly not maybe the versions that I'm seeing here. Cameo, Candy, Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That actually sounds like it might, be something that would work really well here, right? And again, because of the nature of what it is that I'm building around, right? This is giving me some ideas. So I'm going to go back here to my whiteboard, right? And I want to focus on that 111 to 119, and maybe I'm going to like Tears for Fears. Now, where my mind goes there, Everybody Wants to Rule the World at 112 beats per minute. That actually has the same drums as the Michael Jackson, the way you make me feel, which is, I think, at 114. And so these all can sort of go together. Another one I was just thinking about was Dynamite by BTS. Right, that is at 114 as well. And so you get the idea of how this could then be put together. And now what I really want to do is, as I then go about this, the next step that I need to take is I need to then figure out how am I getting in and out of the songs. I'm not so worried about the order yet. In fact, actually, that's one of the last things you should worry about is the order. Because as you're playing live, you may want to change up the order. In fact, I'm going to give you something right now. And some of you may have heard me say this before. I'm going to keep repeating this because it's a really important piece here. It is better for a DJ to be well prepared versus well rehearsed. I'm going to say it one more time. Better for a DJ to be well prepared versus well rehearsed. Coach, what does that mean? That means that well prepared means that you know your music, you know how you're getting in and out of songs, you've got hot cues that are set, you know the lengths of the different sections that you're going to use to get in and out. You have some organization happening inside of your library, but you are not locked into the order. You are willing to pivot. You are actually set up to be able to pivot, because if I go back to this real quick, what if as I'm playing this, I realize that, I was planning on mixing these two songs together, the MJ and the Tears for Fears. I was planning on doing that, but they're just not feeling the Tears for Fears. Or maybe I think like, I don't even think the Tears for Fears will work. The MJ might still work, but I'm going to cancel the Tears for Fears. Right? Like I could make those decisions live, real time. If I was well rehearsed, which a lot of musicians are, by the way, because if you play other musical instruments and if you play with a band or something like that, or you're used to, maybe you play the piano and or you sing, you rehearse over and over and over again. You get it to where, yes, I think this is how I want to do this, and then you just nonstop rehearse to the point where it becomes second nature. As a DJ, that can be very dangerous, because we want to be able to read the room and be able to pick up on what's happening. We need to be able to make split-second decisions as a DJ. That really is what separates good DJs from great DJs, or actually even separates decent DJs from good DJs, is the ability to read the room and read the crowd and to be able to pivot. So we don't have to worry about the order yet. We really are focused on let's get some music together that all kind of fits, at least in a particular crate together, and then we can deal with the rest of it later. We can worry about the order when I'm live. So now that we have that, I'm going to come back over to the to my laptop one more time. I just wanted to show you one more thing, which was I did search inside a Headliner Music Club, and I didn't necessarily find what I was looking for. But inside of Headliner Music Club, they've got some different things as well. So they've got Latin hits. That might be interesting, right? So maybe I'm looking for Latin hits, and as I'm going down this list, I'm keeping in mind what my intention was. I'm trying to fit things into the Dreamers island, if you will, like the pieces that I'm looking for. So in doing this, I see this Kali Uchis versus Nina Sky, and I'm like, okay, that's 114. Maybe that could work. You know, that certainly fits in terms of the BPM range. And then as I keep coming down, here's the Bad Bunny, right? 113. Okay, that might work. Here's another Bad Bunny song at 118. Maybe that will work as well. So even though it wasn't necessarily available, the song I was looking for wasn't available on the record pool, now this is bringing up some different ideas for me. And maybe there are these other songs that I still may want to download to be able to put into this set. Right, so this is critical. Now, one last thing I want to show you, and what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch back. I'm going to switch to my Serato, and I'm going to show you how I actually put these tracks in the organization of what it is that I'm doing. Okay, so really quick, I wanted to show you this. Before I even jump into my Serato, I was then going to download this Bad Bunny song, and there's a dirty version and an intro dirty version. Now, the difference between this is that the intro version is going to have 8 bars of instrumental, 8 or 16 bars of instrumental before it. So this is great, but the actual challenge that the coaches gave me was to make a set around this and to make it family friendly. Playing the dirty version of this song is not going to help me achieve that. And so I'm looking for the clean version. I don't see it here on Headliner. But if I flip back over to Direct Music Service and I now search for that same song, I do see that I've got a version that is the Pete Down Flat intro Spanish clean short edit. That's a very long way of describing it. But here's a clean version. And so I'm going to download that. So now, again, you can see the benefit of using a couple of different sources. You may not find everything that you're looking for in one source, but by putting it all together, you hopefully will be able to find what you're looking for to some degree. And sometimes you'll find what you weren't even looking for, but you find something else that seems like a good fit. So let's go ahead and now show you Serato. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Finder. And for right now, I'm just going to show this to you really quick. I'm going to take these 4 songs that I was looking for or that I had downloaded. I'm going to drag those into a crate. I'm going to call this crate Dreamers 115. And actually, if this was for a gig, I would create a gig for Coach Bry, and I would then put Dreamers as a sub crate in that crate. So I'd then move that there. So now I've got all the songs that I've been preparing, and then I've got a sub crate here of Dreamers and everything I'm looking for. Now, as I'm going through this, I could also look for other things. So that Tears for Fears track that I had. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Yes, this is it. Even though the BPM is wrong. Oh, here's the 115 edit. I'm going to move that into a prepare crate. And I'm also going to move that Michael Jackson, The Way You Make Me Feel. I'll take the short edit. Actually, I'll take the single version and put that there. Great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those 2 and add those as well to my Dreamers folder. So now when I close this out, you will see that inside of that Dreamers folder, I've now got some of the tracks that I'm putting together. And this is how you start to put together a set. And again, just as a reminder, we're not focused on being well rehearsed. We're not worried about the order yet. The next step now after this would be I need to go through and start mapping out my songs, meaning I need to figure out how do I get in and out of each song. So I'm going to go and set hot cues using my color coding system, and that will give me confidence in knowing that I know how to get in and out of these songs despite me not knowing the order quite yet. Gives me a lot of options by just being able to map my songs. I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found this helpful. And if you need help mapping songs, make sure to check out this video here where we go through mapping. And this makes it very simple for you to be able to digest and become more confident as a DJ. I'll see you on the next one.